What's up everybody and welcome to another episode of Raudeza Reviews. I'm Raudeza, and I'm sorry that I haven't been able to post a video in 2 weeks. I kind of got involved with my Raudeza plays on my YouTube channel, as you guys know. But listen, if you guys are interested in seeing the equivalent of Let's Plays, nothing too revolutionary guys, nothing that's not already been done. But if you want to see Raudeza playing, definitely check out my live videos. We, have a pretty good time there. Anyways, the last time I reviewed a BatGirl statue, I was known as AGR's Pop Culture Reviews, and there were some really spectacular ones, so I'm glad that we're able to revisit this character, and of course, by one of my favorite manufacturers, which is Kotobukiya. This is just freaking very exciting, guys. Now, the last time that Kotobukiya did an attempt at the BatGirl statue, it was a different version of BatGirl, or at least a different costume, I should say, which was very spectacular, and they had two variants of it. One was like kind of like a blue color, and the other one was more on the darker side. So, really interesting stuff. I'm glad they're finally tackling on this costume because it's a little more fun and whimsical and kind of like a new era in the whole Batgirl character, inspired by the New 52, also known as the Burnside Batgirl, which we had visited before. So this is going to actually be pretty cool, guys. It's interesting because Batgirl, as part of the Bat family, has become a very important part or an important character in that storyline. So it's a real shame that the Batgirl movie got canceled, and of course Gotham Knights was not that great, but I'm still gonna play that game because I gotta judge for myself. Anyways, you all know who she is by now, so today we're going to be reviewing Kotobukiya's version of Batgirl, aka Barbara Gordon, the Bishoujo statue. Let's take a closer look. One thing I can say about Bishoujo statues is that they never disappoint. Every time I take them out of the packaging, I'm really impressed. Now, the head sculpt here is done very well. Again, very Kotobukiya-esque. You know how it is, very anime inspired. Now, I do like the costume and the cowl here. It's a nice shiny wet leather look. The eyes are fantastic and the hair sculpt is spectacular. Color palettes are really great. The large green eyes offset against the red hair really makes things pop, and I just like the overall direction, guys. The countenance and the makeup in the face are done very well. Just a lot of detail for this scale, and I just love how reflective that cowl is. Everything is done so well, guys. Very impressive head sculpt here. One of the more unique things about the Burnside Batgirl, as she's known, is how interesting and how much of a departure her costume is from other Batgirl variants. Now, the sculpt here is absolutely fantastic. It's really the subtle details here, right? Look at all the creases in the actual costume itself, and I actually like the striations that you can see where the zipper line meets in the actual bat symbol, which looks absolutely great, guys. Attention to detail here is very nice. The art direction is really cool. I like that she's pinching her cape and extending it out, which looks great. And look at the folds and the sculpt there on the inner lining of the cape. The color palette really makes it pop. The lower section of this piece is probably one of my favorites. I love the stance here and the fact that she's got one hand on her hip and one of them is slightly raised. Now, the color palette also here is fantastic. I love that black stripe going down the trousers. It offsets very well with the blue and of course the yellow pouches. But what is really impressive to me is the lower section on the boot, where you can see how incredibly detailed the sculpt is, not only in the laces, but the tread as well. I like the fact that her boot is slightly raised, and it just gives it a nice sense of 3-dimension, guys. As I mentioned, a lot of what makes this piece really great is the subtle details. Now, this is definitely one of those pieces that you want to mirror because, of course, there's a lot of detail on the reverse side. I really like the cowl here, and again, in other iterations, the cowl was a little bit more muted and it had a more of a dull finish. This one is very shiny and it offsets against the hair color very well. Nice sculpt in the hair, but where things get really impressive is in her cape, guys. Look at those folds. And look at the actual shading. It just looks so freaking cool, guys. And you definitely want to mirror this. No fan service to speak of because it's basically being drowned out by the cape, but you get a greater appreciation than that little lift in the leg, which is really cool, guys. That's just really awesome, and you definitely want to mirror this piece because it does look amazing on the reverse side, guys. You know me, guys, the name of the game is a thin a profile as possible for the actual bases themselves. And this one is, while not razor thin, is pretty thin. But most importantly, it's a big bat symbol which really mirrors what she has on her chest. And I like the fact that it is kind of got this texture to it, and it is kind of reflective if you put it in the right light, which is pretty awesome, guys. Overall, it doesn't take up too much space on your shelves, doesn't really have a big footprint, it's not very thick, it's kind of in the Goldilocks zone, which is pretty perfect for this piece, and it really makes it stand out. I think it's a focal point for the rest of the overall motif for this figure, and it really works very well, so kudos on the base, guys. Now here's the only aspect of this piece where I had a bit of a conundrum, and I guess it's a good conundrum to have. It's definitely in the alternate head sculpt. Now, I really love the cowl, but this looks freaking amazing, guys. I love the fact that she's kind of winking at you. It's a little bit more flirtatious and whimsical. The hair is a little bit more drawn out. You can definitely see the sculpt, but there's something so fun about this alternate head sculpt, and it's really hard for me to kind of figure out which one I want to pose it with. I might actually get an alternate figure, and hopefully they make a variant so I can kind of have both of them, one with the cowl and one without. So it is what it is, guys, but you know, I guess it's a good problem to have. So obviously, guys, this is a really great statue, and I have to say it's sold out almost immediately, and I don't really see any more pre-orders for this, and it's kind of sold out everywhere I looked. Nevertheless, this is definitely a holy freaking grail piece, guys. It is a really awesome piece. Hard to find right now unless you go on eBay, and of course, you know what eBay is. It is a monument to capitalism, so people are going to be greedy and then hike up the prices. But if you can find it for a relatively easy price, and I say easy because nobody's going to sell it cheap because, you know, greed. But whatever, just pick it up, guys. Now, I will say this, though, to Kotobukiya, I'm watching you guys. These pieces keep increasing in price, so let's just chill with the, you know, price scale there, okay? Because they're getting up there in like the $200 range, and yeah, these things are awesome, but I don't think they're worth like 200 bucks, so let's just chill with the pricing there, okay? Now, full disclosure, and here's the irony, because I was just shitting on eBay, I didn't get this from one of my normal vendors because it was asking a little bit too much, so I went to eBay, and fortunately I got it directly from a factory, and it's an authentic one, and this is actually a trusted vendor, so thank you very much to Authentic Japan Goods for sending this wonderful piece over for review. It is the real deal, came lightning fast, so thank you guys for hooking me up. Alright everybody, so that's my official review on Kotobukiya's version of BatGirl, aka Barbara Gordon, the Bishoujo statue. As always, I thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next Rao Desert Reviews.
In the Mac black supercar like Batman, yeah, no bodyguard. I'm gang, no styling on the bar. I got it, I bring out the boys to the yard.